Hello my loves, so welcome to another video. I hope that you are doing amazing so far today. The sun was beaming, so I really had to just get out here. It was feeling warmer than usual. Whenever it breaks, you know I'm gonna be outside, but today I had a message for y'all. This message came through when I was doing some meditations, and I was just thinking a lot about how I've been treating life thus far, and how I've been navigating certain things in my path, certain things that I've never been through, certain things I never had to encounter before. But this time around, it was almost as if it wasn't something that never occurred to me before. It is not something that it was new, that I had not endured, I had not processed, and I had been able to reflect and grow from it as a person. And so just basically the overall channeling of the message was how a lot of people would say that they have certain disorders, and I say I had disorders in the past myself. And something that I had brought to my attention was the fact that, like, a disorder were many a time certain qualities and traits that I myself carried or other people carried around me that kind of made it difficult for them to really process or understand or function and kind of live a day-to-day life in a certain manner that seems palatable, almost structured, almost very rigid in a way. And these certain things never made any sense to me, honestly. When I was growing up, they didn't necessarily say I had many disorders. It was more of just a behavioral issue. And so over time, I had recognized and was able to understand the fact that the way that I processed things were different to other people. And a lot of my other friends and people around me would kind of struggle with the same thing, and they would call it a disorder. However, just coming from certain sources that I watched and read online about therapists that go to school and to get certified in clinical therapy, a lot of those people honestly have a certain view and understanding and teaching of psychology and being a therapist in a way that is a reflection of the society at that time. Also the class structure, everything else that was also included within that. So honestly, when I was going to school for psychology, I had struggled a lot because there would be the criteria that I would be listening to or reading, and I would be studying it, and they would literally tell us, like, a lot of these problems are still pertinent to this day. They have not been fixed in the mental health care industry. And so it would be very frustrating because why are you guys teaching things that obviously are affected, that are tainted, that are disorderly or discriminative even in ways, that you guys are still teaching these things and still training it as if it is a socially acceptable way of studying psychology. But it was actually just reading a bunch of things that are not accurate to how the human brain and the body and the spirit, most energy are first and foremost, because we're all spirits and we're all energy, needs to be able to approach that situation. Because really, if you really think about it, being or having a disorder, a mental health disorder, is really the inability for somebody to become a slave or become accustomed to the life of capitalistic society, modern capitalistic society and modern America, things like that. So literally, if you are unable to have a job or have a connection with a certain business or be super passionate and committed and just putting your all into a business or organization or a job, even a lot of the times people with disorders that had disabilities would have difficulties with working a modern day job, a full-time job, industry job, anything of those sorts, because the conditions in those places, in those jobs, are sometimes deemed as modern day slavery, and they don't really do anything about it, unfortunately. So the sad part is a lot of these people are struggling, beating on themselves, feeling useless, and struggling to like have a relationship with finances, really using finances as a way that this is their identity. This is something that allows them to be more secure or more confident or whatever it is. People let money have too much of a hold over them, and at that point, that's when you know that capitalistic society has taken over most of your life in the way of being, because you are working with a disordered society, working with a disordered construct that has been built and developed by mostly white men, in businesses and history and times that it just was built for a certain population to win. And the winning part is mostly the connections, the generational wealth, and certain things like that. So really anybody that falls anything lower or below that, or is not aligned with those things, are going to have a disorder. Or even people, especially if you are resonating with any of the messages that I've said thus far, as a chosen one, a star seed, highest divine spirit entity, you are not going to be able to conform or to fit in or to feel comfortable by all these things that American society wants you to understand and to uphold and to kind of develop into your life as if it is the new way of thinking or living or believing or whatever may have you. So I'm in nature, so there's bugs trying to bother me, and I don't like bugs, but I love to be outside. But that's besides the point. So as I was saying, don't get on yourself. If you feel that you don't have a certain amount of money in your pocket, if you have certain financial goals, you want to live a certain lifestyle, and if you are constantly ruminating on the fact of lack or operating from the place of lack when it comes to finances, if you have financial curses in your family, if you struggle with having budgeting systems or investing your money in certain things that will help you in your future, then it's most likely that there are money blockages that are there that need to be removed so things can clear up and become more, as you'd say, a balance within yourself, inside of yourself, because there has to be a balance of, okay, money does not have a hold over me. Any amount that I use or pay off or dedicate towards a purchase will become multiplied and will be returned to me quickly. And also the fact that I have to save money because I value my life, I value my future, I deserve better. So I cut certain things off of my life that are more worldly, more vanity based, more superficial, or just fast, quick shots of little dopamine to just get me through life, when I can actually find those things within a less financial place, or a less capitalistic or modernistic, or I guess in the way that people live now. For example, for what you like to do for fun. Ooh, ooh, oh no, if you all saw that. Ooh, there's a bug. Oh dear. I'm not even gonna cut that out. Oh my. See? That's why I gotta be careful when I go outside. But however, so as I was saying, you have to have a balance, and you need to, first of all, look into your life and recognize where are you spending an over excess amount of money for certain things that you could replace with more positive, more productive, more influential and impactful and long-lasting activities, rituals, things that you do for yourself to make yourself feel better, so that you're not really kind of getting these quick shots of dopamine, or certain, like, I guess, what is the word, mediocre situations and events that you find yourself and put yourself into multiple times, and you kind of like, I don't really feel much better when I leave these circumstances, or when I constantly do this one thing. I kind of want to be able to make my life a little bit easier. Alright, so I just had to change the little angle a little bit. But basically, as I was saying, being and feeling as if you are a disordered person and you have something wrong with you, I want you to know that, well, first of all, you are not alone. You are also not broken. You are not disordered. You are not, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. What you're struggling with and what you're experiencing is really the clash between how, I guess, normal, neurotypical, average American society views and deals with and processes certain experiences, and then there's you who doesn't really coincide with those beliefs or narratives or actions, experiences a cognitive dissonance, which means when two different thoughts that you have that you may believe in, they'll clash because they don't agree with one another. So you'll experience the cognitive dissonance in your mind, basically experiencing the clash between what is and what was, who you might have been in the past, who you might have been. I was just calling on the sun earlier, so it's funny that the sun decided to come outside a little bit and shine on me, so thank you for that, sun. But just the dissonance between having a disconnect of who you were in the past, what worked in the past, what helped you to survive, helped you to get to the next step, and what you are experiencing now, what you're feeling now, who you are now, today in this world. I knew I had a bug in my shirt. I'm telling y'all, the outside is crazy. Have you got bugs in my shirt? Okay, but we keep this thing rolling. You gotta do it even if it doesn't turn out the right way, or doesn't turn out the way that you want it to, or doesn't succeed, or doesn't hurt, or doesn't lock in, or doesn't provide certain results right away. Because I guess, for an example, if you're learning an instrument, if you were a kid like I was, your school had a music program where you could join it, you could learn an instrument, and you would play in the orchestra for that whole entire time. Basically, you learned an instrument from scratch. When you first got that instrument, that thing was super hard to deal with. You didn't even know what holes were for what. You didn't know what you were supposed to do with the tools that came with it. It was just like reading an instruction manual without the instruction manual. So you had to really figure out, how does this thing work? How do I identify with it? How does my body best feel molded with this instrument or this thing that I am learning, this skill I am learning and I am adapting to? And over time and through practice and through years of development, of consistency, sometimes inconsistency, because nothing is linear. Life isn't linear, your path isn't linear. But at the end of the day, if it is meant for you, it will carry through that way and it will come. So you had to carry through these certain moments of experiencing stagnancy, of experiencing a disconnect, of not really understanding, how does this thing fit into my life? How am I going to be successful off of this thing? How am I going to be recognized for the work that I've put into this craft? And trust me, the answer to all of your questions are going to come. They are going to come very soon. It's really a matter of you being able to understand the fact that you are not disordered. There's nothing wrong with you. You are a literal gift. You are a divine entity that was gifted from the universe, placed here on this earth to change the trajectory of your lineage, of society, of your industry, of wherever you have been placed and wherever you have been blessed to touch the people in those spaces, even if it might not even look the way that you want it to. You are doing a job there that doesn't take effort out of you. It is built within you, because it is a natural gift that is provided from source, from spirit energy, and you are responsible for carrying that out and assigning it to your daily life, submitting to it in your daily life, surrendering to the things that are needed and important for you to receive these gifts, receive these blessings, and it will come to fruition. The internal, once the eternal is reflected, once the internal embodies everything of you that you are and I am affirmations that you need to be repeating to yourself, because you are and I am everything and an infinite being and successful and possible and worthy and willing and brave and strong and all of these things. You need to tell yourself that because it is so important. Until that happens, the external will not look the same. Whatever you are seeking, whatever you are wanting and wishing for and dreaming will not be the same if you do not sit with yourself truly and tell yourself, am I ready for these gifts? And if you say no, I need you to pause a little bit. Reflect on why you said no. And just so y'all know, this is a complete channel through from universe to you guys right now in this moment. So I'm just on autopilot, but if you are truly ready for this gift and you say no, reflect and observe the reasons and feelings and why you said that. And I want you to go back and think of the last time you felt like you weren't ready to learn something new, when you weren't ready to embark on something greater than you, when you weren't ready to embark on a new journey, a new phase of your life. I want to think about the last time that you were scared, more specifically around your adolescent age, around your child age, your teenage self, young adult self, wherever you are, anything that was in the past, behind the person that you are today. I want you to observe where that feeling comes from, and I want you to feel it. I want you to think about the situation that happened, because it's going to come up anyways. But when it comes up, I don't want you to hide and to be afraid, and I don't want you to run away from it, because that version of yourself is crying for to be embraced, to be loved, to be accepted, to have a light shone on that shadow part of yourself. This is where shadow work comes in. This is where the manifestation work comes in. I need you to look real deep into these things, into the eyes of these things, and to see that it is nothing but a reflection of the realities and experiences and things that you had been through up until that point when you were that past version of yourself. But things have changed since then. Things are not the same anymore. So now you're looking at a situation and a position in your life, a new event, a new chance, a new trajectory, a phase. You're looking at this with the eyes of the person that you were 5 years ago, wondering, why does it look so weird? Why does it look so confusing? Is this meant for me? Why does this feel abnormal? Why does it feel foreign? Why does it feel like a threat? I'm scared. You know, I'm on this hill, so I'm constantly trying to figure out a comfortable way to sit. But yes, you have to look at the situation as the person that you are now, the person that you know inside that you will be and that you already are. Because if you did not have the vision, if you did not have the idea, the vision, the dream, the thought, maybe you even said it out loud, just out of nowhere, in passing or in a joke, like being like, oh, I'm just thinking about an example. Like you are all here laughing with your friend and talking about this person that is bad at being a DJ or bad at the music at the party that you're at, and then you're like, oh, I could be a DJ. I could do this. Let me see if I could do something a little different. You know, sometimes you actually speak out manifestations or certain things and happenings that you are actually supposed to accomplish. Because all that had to happen was for the seed to be deposited in your mind, for it to grow, for it to blossom, for it to be nurtured and to be fertilized and to be, killed off and to be revitalized, to be pruned, to be, populated, to be reseeded, everything, to become the strongest plant that has ever been developed. To be the tree, the strongest tree, the oldest tree, the most beautiful and wisely and a beautiful tree. It's gonna be a beautiful tree. That's all I'm telling y'all. It's gonna look beautiful. Like all these trees that are around here, this is beautiful around here. I really love coming here sometimes. It's something that I am trying to implement more often now that it's actually hot outside, to be outside, but not be outside in the sense of I'm always doing something with other people, because you have to protect your energy to a certain extent, but there has to be balance. So like going back to the conversation that we were already having, there has to be a balance within your life whenever you want to invest something, some sort of part of yourself into a certain talent, skill, situation, organization, job, whatever it may be. You want to dedicate a certain portion of yourself to that. But at the same time, there are other components of yourself that cannot be left behind or left in a state of lack. So you have to have a balance. And a lot of the time when people are starting off into their spiritual journey, there will be a situation where they are kind of like, if you see my hand as a pendulum, or I guess a seesaw, you know how a seesaw will be balanced if the two people on either side have the same amount of weight. Whatever, doesn't matter how that works, but they just have to be the same weight and the same position for it to be a balance. But anytime that there's more emphasis on one side or the other, there's going to be a teeter-tottering effect that you will run into that makes things more difficult for you to kind of see, oh, these other components of me are lacking and they're feeling neglected. I need to be able to bring attention to those things, because that is how I'll be able to feel more balanced, and I'll feel better about making a commitment, part of myself, to something that is important to me. So that's something that we got to think about as well when it comes to the balance between discovering who you are, but also understanding that you are going to have certain ups and downs and trials and tribulations and tests and all types of things that are going to be thrown at you, and you're just going to be like, okay, so is this meant for me though? Like, I don't know, God, I don't know, universe, you're making me feel like you just want to kill me off at this point, because I'm almost on my last straw, please. Like, if y'all understand, like, it gets real difficult up in these trenches, up in life. But that's what life is. Our soul was brought here once again after the accumulation of our ancestors and past lives and everything that we've ever experienced, as the spirit that we are, that has been placed into this physical body that is not truly who we are, but is just a holder for the lifetime that we are given in this time, in this moment right now. We were supposed to be here for a reason. And so this spirit body is going through certain situations and experiences where you're going to be triggered, you're going to be tested. You were meant to go through these things. Your spirit and soul chose for you to go to these things, to experience these problems. Your higher self is making you go through certain situations, certain circumstances, because at the end of the day, the person that you are truly meant to be understands and already knows what you had to go through to get there. So you can't go through what you needed to get through until you do, so that you can get to where you want to go. But you have to go through what you need to get through first in order to get there. But it be getting you. So like, you gotta understand, it's a process, and it's difficult, and it's really trifling. But it's all a part of how you learn to build, to develop, to mold, and to squeeze into this new vessel and this new being of yourself, this higher vibrational self that is blossoming into the wings that we are always meant to have. That's why we are going through these things, because just imagine, and I said this before, if you guys are experiencing certain visions or wanting certain things to happen in your life, and you've already had the vision, already had the thought, the feeling, that means it's already something that you were meant to have and destined to have in the future. But if you were given that thing right now, without anything, without no sacrifice, no struggle, no troubles, nothing, because it feels like after all you've been through, you feel like, okay, well, I deserve it. Like, obviously I went through so much, and I'm just so I'm so sad. So like, please, but that's not how the universe works. The universe is like, no, Buki, that's not how you get it. That's not how you do it. It has to be this way. You need to learn the right way. And a lot of us will feel that inner child wound, that egotistical self, be like, well, that's not fair. That don't make no sense. Like, I'm upset. I feel like I should deserve this, or I should go through this and this and that. And if you felt that, or if you said that and experienced that, I completely resonate and understand that. However, that is not the energy and the light or the space that you really have to go about or go through or feel in order to manifest your reality and the things that you want as a righteous individual, as a divine and high vibrational being. Those things are not that. So that's why we were chosen specifically to go through these things, to experience that, so we could actually understand when we get to the top, we're going to experience rejection. We're going to experience abandonment. We're going to experience so much pain and so much hurt from certain circumstances. But when we experience those things again, after everything we've been through, it's going to be literally like you brushing it off. Like it's just little leaves falling on your shoulders, y'all. Like it's just a little dust that you gotta just flick it off. All you gotta do is flick it off and it'll be gone. You'll be moving on your way to the rest of your life. Continuing to do the things that you have to do. Always doing it, never falling off, having a rhythm for yourself. Because I'm telling you, when these blessings, when these passions, when these dreams, when the reality of what your life is truly meant to be, the potential, it will be there, and it will come in faster than you will ever experience. You're gonna be busy as heck, always doing something, always, thinking about the next idea, or being in the space to actually create and do what you want to do, because you have no restrictions and nothing stopping you, and everything is in alignment. And there's been certain things, people, places, events, situations, finances, whatever it is that have been gifted to you to help you, because you are ready for it. And you are going to treat it well. You're going to treat it the way that you need to. You're going to be already, you're going to be set. You're going to be good. So understand, when it is your time, you will know. And you already know that you will have that time, and that time is coming, because you're feeling the anticipation. You're feeling the changes. We just had the solar eclipse just lately. And this time is a time for manifestation because of our new moon. So do this with the best intention possible, with the care and consideration, the love that you have for yourself, the patience and respect that you have for yourself, to give yourself the time to get into these wings, to get into these circumstances, to feel these things that you might have, brushed off or didn't want to experience or to face in the past, because it will help you become the person that you were always meant to be. And to trust me that the universe, God, spirit, and source energy are there for you the entire way. They're here the entire way. They're never going to leave you stranded, confused. And I know because I have experienced it and I am experiencing it. God and spirit and source energy have already placed people, situations, events, and happenings into my life for a reason. And they are the fundamental building blocks that are given to help get to the next step. But you have to be in the knowing and the vibration and the energy of that was already there. That was already going to be something you're going to experience, something you already have within yourself, something you're already practicing for yourself, because you love who you are as a person. You love everything about yourself. You know how powerful you are. You know the potential that you have. You know who you are destined to be. You know how you're going to change this world, most importantly. And so anybody out there that is struggling in this feeling of knowing, in this anticipation, do not be scared of your potential. Don't run away from it. Because I know, and also speaking from testimony, that when you know exactly who you are and what you're supposed to be, it's going to be almost frightening, almost, I guess in a way, entrapping, restricting, I'm not sure how to put it, but just like in a way that you're not going to know how to deal with it. You're not going to know what it is. It's something that's foreign to you. But also it's not at the same time, because it's something that's always been carried with you in your dreams, in your thoughts, in your words, anything. Your actions. Something that's always been with you this whole time. But once we wake up and things start clicking for us, that's when those downloads, those messages, the ability to receive downloads from spirit, from source energy, and to be locked in for real. That's when you're going to know, okay, I gotta wake up. Everything that I've known is not really what I've known it as. And now I get to recreate and rewrite exactly everything that I've ever learned in my life, because that is the freedom, that is the opportunity that we've been given. The ability, the chance, the time for us to understand really what this shit is. All right, y'all, because this world is crazy. I'm telling y'all. This world is crazy. And you gotta be careful. You gotta be so careful about the energy that you choose to be around and to interact with and to have in your circle. Be so careful, because if you resonate with this message, and I just already feel that you know what it takes when you dedicate yourself to somebody, when you love, when you care so deeply, when you invest yourself into something. It's as if it was the last thing that you would ever invest into if your life depended on it. You put your all into things. You're passionate, you're driven, you're strong, you're fierce, you're brave. You just do it. And that is such a beautiful and wonderful quality about you. Don't ever give that up, and don't let anybody take that from you. But understand that not everybody deserves to experience or feel or have a close contact connection with you, with that energy, because it's so beautiful, it's so gifted, it's so grand and divine that only those who are able to see the light within you, be able to see the potential, to see the being, to see the work, to see the tears, to see the hardships, to see the pain, the trauma, the struggle. They're able to see literally everything that you see within yourself and reflect the best qualities of that. Is the only type of people that deserve to be in your energy, love. And I mean this with so much love, because there'll be a time where you have to face your older self and you need to be like, okay, well, why am I experiencing this struggle of not really feeling connected with these individuals anymore? But it's not like I don't have anything wrong with them or don't like them. There's just something that's just not working. And that's when you've known that you've outgrown people. You've outgrown your old self. You've outgrown past situations and happenings and things that you put yourself through that you don't have to anymore. You know it's not for you anymore. It doesn't click the same. It doesn't give you the same rush. It doesn't give you the same feeling. And that is okay. That is okay. And you deserve to give yourself the space to feel liberated enough to say that that is okay. And to forgive yourself when you find yourself back in old habits and situations and cycles that you've sworn that you've gotten out of and that you didn't need to be in anymore, and that you've had gone through the process of, and then notice that you're seeing the same qualities of an old person, a past person, a toxic person, now in these qualities of this person. And now you're like, oh, I've done it again. I've done it again. Is it all is lost? Obviously, I'm not doing something right. I know y'all overthinkers, which I know y'all are overthinkers. You're going to understand what I'm saying. But it's not. Not all is not all. All is not lost. All is not lost. And you're exactly where you need to be, because you needed to experience that again. You're building your skin, building your armor, building your shield for who you are when everything is said and done, when the external is reflected and you are actively and successfully and forever will be doing the things that you were destined and meant to do. But none of that will happen if you give up. Trust me. None of that will happen if you give up. And you stop. And you choose to go back forever. And the beautiful thing is that if you resonate with my message and you connect with everything that I've said thus far and in my channel and whatever you have ingested, if this is your first time meeting me, I'm so happy that you could be here with me. But this is a jam-packed message, and I have a lot to say for y'all. I haven't recorded a lot in a while, and I kind of fell off of it. And I was kind of scared, scared like, is this something that I'm not going to do anymore? Is this not meant for me? Am I not going to be able to think of the ideas or the topics to talk about or things to do? And I just had to let go of all those fears and doubts and thoughts that were so limiting, that were really just reflections of just past things from the past, things that don't exist anymore, outside people, influences, situations, trauma, whatever you may want to call it or whatever it may be. Those things weren't real. And I know that I can't and I will never give up, because the will and urge is so strong And if you resonate with this, your urge, your will for this thing is so strong and so obvious and so consistent, and it's like a constant like prick in your butt or prick in anywhere to literally keep going, to get your booty up, to get it up. Don't stop. Why are you moping around? Why are you sad? Why are you laying down? Why are you, ignoring things? Why are you, not like following through on certain things that you said that you wanted to do for yourself, that you said that you would quit, that you said that you would stop, that you said that you would put to the side, or that you said that you were going to change, but they haven't. Understand that sacrifice is required for literally anything. But if it is meant for you, it means that you were meant to already do that thing, to leave that situation, leave that friend group, leave that person, leave that space, leave that hobby, that habit, whatever it may be. You were meant to, and you got through it, and you survived, and you've learned, and you got through to the other side, and you were able to follow through on the very thing that you were always meant to do in this world. It already is written in the stars. All you need to do is just unlock it once you lock in. But it's never going to pass you because it's always within. So that's the message for today, y'all. I want to just send all of my love to you. I love you. I hope that whatever you're struggling with and whatever you're going through, understand that it is not above you. It does not make you who you are as a person. It doesn't define you. It does not limit you. It does not hold you. It does not fear you. It's not for you. But you got this. Don't stop. Because you're not meant to. You're going to get back into it anyways. If you know, you know. That very thing that you want to do when you're supposed to do it is going to come. You'll have time for it again. You'll receive the help. You'll receive the situation, the financials, whatever it is that you may need to do what you want to do with that gift. But all you have to do right now is just do it. Do what you want to do. Make art. Make creation. Make it. Period. Do it. Put yourself in that situation. Put yourself in that room. Make that sacrifice. Make that risk in going out alone to an event or something. And obviously, everybody, just a disclaimer, deal with this message in a smart and responsible manner, of course, but there is always risk associated, a little daredevilishness associated with everything that you're going to do. But don't run away from it. You got this. I hope you have a wonderful and beautiful day, a week ahead, because this is on a Sunday. But that I hope you enjoyed this message. I hope if you're watching to the end, thank you so much for receiving this message. I appreciate your time and appreciate your dedication towards wanting better for yourself and being here. You showing up for yourself and being here. And so I love you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.